This is Trevor and Susie Walters' property in Otorohanga, a 70-hectare effective, primarily grass-based dairy system. Mainly river flats and some rolling hills.
Yep.
Show us around. Winter and spring are vital months for balancing pasture growth and providing quality feed for meat and milk production. Pasture depletion during cool weather and low soil temperatures have traditionally reduced farm incomes and increased costs with supplementary feeding requirements. When all other properties in the district were showing falling milk solid production, Trevor and Susie Walters achieved startling increases without increasing their supplementary feed budget. So, how did the Walters manage to achieve this? Increased use of nitrogen fertiliser? No. Luck? Definitely no. Their farm advisor, Brian McKay from Dairy Production Systems, offered them the opportunity to trial an interesting new grass growth promotant from Nufarm. It's called ProGibb and is a natural plant growth stimulant that increases grass growth, particularly in cooler conditions like winter and early spring, when pasture growth rates are traditionally low. So Trevor, what were your expectations when you first heard of ProGibb?
I was quite excited about it actually. I thought that anything's got to be better than having no grass, so I'd give anything a go, especially in August or July, August, when the growth rates are right down. I just needed something that's going to give everything a bit of a kick. Paul Addison turned up with this little 250 gram pack and said it goes on at 20 grams per hectare, and I thought, what? This is ridiculous, like 4 teaspoons of granulated powder going on per hectare. What the hell's that going to do? But it does more than I ever would have thought.
Could you see the improvement immediately?
From the time we applied the stuff, it was probably within 3 to 5 days we'd actually see a definite notice of what we'd sprayed and what we hadn't sprayed. We left strips in each paddock that we sprayed, so you could actually go back and have a look as a definite, you know, was there a response or wasn't there? And there was always a response. We never ever had a failure. Our consultant took pasture samples and sent them over to a laboratory over in America, because he feels that they give more of an in-depth analysis of the plant. So and the results actually showed that they're very much the same.
So treated and untreated pasture quality was the same?
Exactly. Yeah. There's nothing in it. So very.
But now we're getting more grass.
Very much so.
And Trevor, do you have any idea of the percentage change in growth rates?
We normally grow at about 30 kgs, and yeah, when we put this stuff on it, it certainly climbed up to 55 kilograms of dry matter a day. So yeah, we're looking at a 60 to 80% increase. So it's got to be good.
And how have you changed your management program now that you've got more grass?
Well, if you're growing grass, you've got to graze it or feed it. That's where we get our money from. So about the 15th of August, we just opened the gates up on the cows, and yeah, 20-day round straight up. You'd normally be on a 30-day round now? Yeah, most of the time you're on a 30-day round and feeding out supplements all the time, just to try and extend the first rotation as long as you can, yeah. 30 to 40 days, a lot of people. And did you keep the supplements at the same rate? We were feeding up to 2 kilograms of silage a day, but yeah, the cow started walking past it and they weren't eating it. We reduced it down to as little as half a kilogram a cow per day, just as a fibre content. But they still just kept on walking past it, so we knocked it on the head. Couldn't see the point in wasting it, so yeah. So now they're all grass? Now it's all grass, yeah. So looking at a production response, how's the milk check looking? Very, very positive. Last year was a record for us. This year we're currently 11.5% up on last year. September we had a record month ever since we've owned the farm, and that's like 25 years. And how do you compare to the district average? Well, I think for the Waikato, I just looked back on the graph on the computer, and they were 1.5% down for the season, and we're 11.5% up. The cows are better condition. They're half a condition, score better than they were this time last year. The average cover over the whole farm is sitting at about 2,200. That was at the end of September, whereas you know it's normally around 1,800. More surprisingly is if you put it on a graph, the graph is still climbing. Whereas middle of September we normally have a little bit of a pinch or feed gap shortage in it, and there's always seems to be a little bit of a dip in the graph, but this year it's going straight up and it's still climbing. So September's usually your most critical time. Yep. And this year you've got better farm cover than anything, and the cows on a faster round. Yep. And better production. Better production, better condition, and it'll be interesting to see what our mating results are.
And are you into pre-mating heats?
No, we checked a couple of cows out to make sure that they're cycling, and everything's on target. We consistently put up 90% of the herd in the first 3 weeks anyway, but conception rate's always down around 65 to 70%, so it'd be interesting to see whether we can, by fully feeding them better, whether we can actually get them to, the conception rate to climb.
And how did you find the application ease of ProGibb?
We'd go and put the spray end on the back of the tractor every 2 days, every 3 days, and we'd spray the pasture behind the cows probably from day one after grazing, right through to probably the third day that they grazed. We'd just do it all in one hit. So it might take us an hour and a half, twice a week.
So you're on a 20-day round, and after spraying and grazing, are you seeing regrowth?
We were grazing this, the ProGibb pasture 18 to 20 days after we'd initially sprayed it. You don't get any depression in growth or anything like that. And when the ProGibb does run out, it just seems to revert back to normal growth conditions again. So if you want to give it another bit of a boost along, give it another spray,
The next application after you've grazed, are you seeing the same response?
Oh yeah.
What about the technical requirements for the product?
The grass has got to be in a growing state or thereabouts. It'd be pointless putting it on with freezing conditions, but in colder conditions, if the ground temperature is around 7 to 8 degrees, I think you get a response.
We talked earlier on about the hillsides. What's been the response there?
Well, a lot of hillsides or sidelings, the grass will only grow a certain amount. Like if you've got 2 inches of leaf cover on a steep sideling, then you've done pretty well. With the ProGibb that we put on, the grass just keeps leaping out of the ground. There's definite lines that it's twice as much grass growing off the sidelings as what we ever had. And you can see that the stuff that we've sprayed as opposed to the stuff that we haven't sprayed, there'd be easily probably 100% more growth. Now,
we're a bit of a cynical bunch. Are there any downsides?
Probably the only downside is that if it's raining you can't get the stuff on, or weather conditions certainly a governing factor. But really it sounds too good to be true, but all you need to do is spray half a paddock and go back a week later, and you'll certainly notice the difference, guarantee it.
So I think we're all going to hear a lot more about ProGibb in the future.